Manchester United and Leeds United are close to agreeing a £30 million all-in transfer, £24 million up with up to £6 million of performance-related add-ons for Dan James. Of course, the Manchester United flop in the eyes of the majority of the United faithful, purchased for £16 million 2 years ago, is now about to be sold for almost double that amount. There are also rumours this evening of a potential hijack from Everton and a reported bid of it somewhere in the region of £40 million. And I'm trying not to laugh because it's either the craziest bit of business I've ever seen or it's the worst rumour that's ever been made up. But Dan James looks set to leave Manchester United. This has triggered United fans to get the words Basuma or Neves trending across social media, but many believe this deal is just being done to help finance the contract of Cristiano Ronaldo. £30 million being raised will certainly go some way to paying and making a dent into the huge £400,000 a week salary that Cristiano Ronaldo will demand. He, of course, completed his medical today and is set to join Manchester United imminently. The reports are that he'll get the number 7 shirt, and when Dan James leaves, Cavani will take number 21. In other news breaking this evening, it has been reported that Saul Niguez to Manchester United is off and highly unlikely to join Chelsea Football Club as it stands right now. The Camavinga transfer is reported as off and not going to Manchester United. Dan James have already mentioned. Neves is also seen as being pretty unlikely. But what we're doing this evening is giving fans a chance. We've got Sonny, Brandon, and Lewis from Give Me Sport to come on and have their say. It's either Lewis or Louis. Literally, I spoke to 2 people with the name spelt that way today and told me something different. It is actually the worst spelt name in the history of Earth, especially for a dyslexic, because I never know whether it's Lewis or Louis. I'm just going to call him mate. That's the easy way forward on that one. They're going to be coming out here and telling us what they want from their football clubs on deadline day. That's your opportunity as well. What do you want your club to do? Whoever your club is, what do you want to see happen on transfer deadline day? There's so many deals that can still happen. Lingard. Will Liverpool sign anybody this summer? I know Kounde came in, but he did the deal, about 2 years ago? So it's not even a proper summer signing in that way. Man United fans, what are you still after? And we do have a poll running as well. Which club has let their fans down the most this summer? Arsenal currently leading the way with 51% of the vote. Interestingly, Man City are bottom of that with only 5% thinking they've let their fans down. 11% saying Man United. 33% saying Liverpool Football Club. Make sure that like button has been smashed. Make sure you subscribe to the Football Terrace. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Terrace. Transfer deadline day is almost upon us. Just over 24 hours remaining for clubs to get all their summer business done. I quite look forward to the window being shut. One, it makes my schedule a hell of a lot easier. I can just focus on prepping for football content as opposed to continually checking updates in newspapers for breaking news. But equally, we can really nail down our predictions. Who is going to do what this season? Liverpool fans, I need to hear from you tonight. I've been told all summer long, Kerry, stop scaremongering. We're going to make signings. We're going to make signings. We're going to make signings. Trust FSG. We're going to make signings. There's one day left. These secret deals that are being done behind the scenes, we need to see the fruits of that labor tomorrow. Man United fans have seen their club sign Jadon Sancho, Champions League Varane, Cristiano Ronaldo, and they are still very, very angry. Arsenal Football Club have invested £135 million base. It's going to rise with performance-related add-ons. Their fans are not happy. Man City fans, we don't know about them because we can't find any to speak to, so we don't know if they're happy or sad. Chelsea fans, one of the best squads in the world. They've signed Romelu Lukaku one of the most potent goal scorers in the world. They're not happy tonight. Tottenham fans, Hill is in. Romero is in. You've got one of the best managers in European football, in my opinion, in. You're about to gazump Arsenal in the signing of the Barcelona player Emerson. They're still not happy. No one's happy. No one seems. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something in the water, but nobody seems happy at this moment in time. So we want to hear from you tonight for you to have a chance to come on and have your say. I'm going to do some of the comments before I bring some of the boys out tonight to chat to us. What we saying here, Terry? Do you think Lindelof can be pushed to? No, bro. Listen. Let's not get into this kind of for years on football content creating. Maybe this defender could play in midfield. Maybe this midfielder can play in defense. There are a finite amount of players in the history of football that can play a multitude of positions to a top class standard. Hlahm is being one of them. Kimmich is another that's around right now. Ryan Giggs, one of the greatest football players to ever grate us. Top class, one of the best wingers ever. Was also one of the best Premier League central midfielders at 38, 39 and 40. Rarity. It's why I'll never have any winger compared to Ryan Giggs. Someone said to me the other day, Mane's as good as him or better than him. So when Mane's 38 and can control the midfield and win a Premier League in midfield, then we can talk about who the better football player is. The irony is these are the eye test merchants that say it. The eye test merchants that care not about a stat. So no, I don't think that can happen, my brother. I don't. Adama Traore coming. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. Right now, nobody knows. What the F? Breaking news, Terry. Wolves are signing Renato Sanchez from Lille. Is that true? I didn't see that one. I haven't seen that one. Where's that one come from? Who's put that bit of news out? I haven't seen that one, my friend, but thank you for updating us here. Saul and Kounde will still join Chelsea is what Paul believes. Maria Williams says she's happy. There we go. Bruv, it's standards. I need to know what that means. Sometimes your comments need more specificity. I need to understand the specifics of what you say. What was the Sal update? I ain't done no updates yet. The panel coming on very, very soon. I'm just kind of having a little chit chat. This is YouTube. I actually got some feedback about our Friday night show, barring the out of sync audio, which we should be. The maddest bit is, right? Clips of our show have been pushed across Facebook. Like 300,000 views. Killing it. My people are killing it on Give Me Sport. Killing it. If we can get that sync right, it's going to be the biggest show on YouTube. Nothing else is like it. Proper fans, proper people. Anyway, but I got the feedback that I don't talk enough to the audience anymore. It's too much like a TV show. So there'll be changes. Changes. There will be changes. There's always going to be changes. Riz, thank you for this beautiful donation. He says, as a Leeds fan, I hope Dan James proves his worth. Can't wait for Arsenal versus Barnsley. Listen, on Dan James, let me just chat about Dan James for a second. £30 million. Myrtle and Fletcher. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. £30 million. Astronomical money for a flop. We doubled our money. It's like me buying a car for 10 grand. It was broken down. It's falling apart. It's gone rusty and selling it for 20 grand. I can't believe it. I want to know where that money is going to be invested, though. I'm not too sure if it's going to be back into the first team or not, but there we go. There's no such thing as eye test merchants. Yes, there is. I'll tell you what an eye test merchant is. An eye test merchant is somebody that only bleats on about the eye test when the player that they love has terrible outputs. But yet when they've got a player they love who has brilliant outputs, they manage to squeeze him in a little bit. That's an eye test merchant. Someone that pretends it's all about the eye test when it suits their agenda, but throws in statistics when it doesn't. They are charlatans, they are pigs, and do not listen to them. Never listen to them. Never listen to somebody whose moral compass is fucked. Never do it. Never listen to them, because that means you're one of those people, and those people will always be bad eggs, bad vibes, and never be successful in life. Why would you want to hang around with unsuccessful people? It's going to make you unsuccessful. Get away from them. Drain the swamp. Great summer for United. I'm ripping into people now, but I can't help it. Not any one individual, just saying in general. Do you know what I mean? Rocky Balboa once said, you are what you hang around with. He says, if you hang around with yo-yo people, He'll be a yo-yo. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's the thing in Philadelphia, but it's kind of true. It's very true. If Renato Sanchez to Wolves, could United get Neves on the final day? I feel it in my fingers. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe. What's interesting, though, about a few deals. Saul Niguez to Chelsea. Ruben Neves to Man United. It's the unlikely or nothing imminent right now. Every transfer journalist is leaving those deals partially open. That's a fact. So there is still the possibility that happens, but we will see. We will see. I wouldn't get my hopes up right now as a Manchester United fan. I simply just wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't. Camavinga has been reported as off, as we've mentioned. Is any Chelsea fans still confident about their deals? But we want to hear from you in terms of who you are happy with and upset with, etc. Eduardo to Crystal Palace is I've just seen that. £15 million with Celtic. Celtic are in the mud now. Medical tomorrow. Look at that. That's a proper deal. That is a proper deal. Cheers, Leaf. Leaf, or as we like to call him, Keith with an L. Thank you very much. Breaking. Sanchez is set to join Wolves. I haven't even seen this news. I need to put this in. Could that mean Ruben Neves? No, I don't know. It doesn't mean anything. Right now it means niente. It doesn't mean a thing. But who knows? Where's the news stem from, though? Legit, because I can't see it anywhere. Can someone DM me a link? Don't send it on here because I can't click on links on here. I need you DM me in it. I actually got an update here. Interesting. I can't reveal who the journalist is, but he broke some big Man United news today. I asked him, "Do you think United are done?" And he said, "Honestly, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me either way. What's your hunch?" So it's coming to me, right? So this is, you know what I mean? Tier 1 tell and all that. Do you know what I mean? But I'm the same. I don't want to call it. I can't call it. I don't know how we're going to what we're going to do tomorrow. I don't want, I'm just going to play it down and then act surprised. Man like Lou has sent me this here. Oh, Alex Cook has sent it out. Wow. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Neves to Man United now? I'm just going to put it out there as a tweet to wind some people up. Right, where we at? My boy Ruben. I'm going to text Diogo Jota now and see if he knows anything. I'm just going to text Diogo Jota now and see if he knows anything. Where's my phone? I'm messaging Jota now, live on the air. He's Ruben. I was going to message him. So I was going to be blunt. Right, where's my WhatsApp? Where is Diogo Jota? Here he is. Oh. I used to message him quite a lot. Are you going to see his number? No. I used to message him quite a lot, to be fair. What should I do? No, because that's got his bank account details on. I better show you that. Right. Hey, mate. Hang on. I might not get a response, but I'm going to message him. I hope you are well. I sent the message to Ruben, to Diogo Jota. Let's see what happens. He's got it. Let's see if he replies. I don't know if he will, but I just thought I'd do it live on the air and see what happens. Right. We're hungry. We're starving. Any good news regarding Saul Niguez or Kounde, Terry? I've seen things saying it's off, and then I've seen other people say things like very unlikely. I love that unlikely bit. The door is open, but we will see on those ones tomorrow. Right, let's bring the panel out. I'm going to share the link for you to come on and have your say, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to throw it out there. I want to know what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Where's my link button? There it is. It's shared. I'm going to post it in the comment section and then paste it. I'm going to paste it into there, and then I'm going to pin it. That's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to pin it, put it up. There we go. I'm a little bit up tonight because I took my daughter out for her birthday with my son. You know what I mean? Really, really nice. Of course, with their mother as well. Very, very nice. A few cocktails, right? A few beers. Had a good time. There we go. All right, that's pinned now. So if you want to phone in, you can. But I'm bringing the panel on first to have their say. Strip Bear in the house says, as you know, love your channel, but want a bigger transfer window chat. I mean, we do like 3 transfer videos a day. That's rather excessive, some would say, Strip Bear. This is an interesting comment here. Strip Bear, you're my bird. All right, sweet. We just had a football terrace marriage live on the air. Football terrace marriage live on the air. I've been told to go check out a tweet here. Been told to go check out a tweet from my friend Simon Phillips. What's he saying? Chelsea are keen to sign Saul Niguez on loan from Atletico Madrid with an option to buy. The deal is dependent on Atletico being able to sign a replacement. I saw that news earlier. It's just been shared again. Now I just retweeted it from Simon. That hasn't been the case. They haven't said that all summer. So it's a little bit of a surprising one to me now. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Let's smash that like button. Let's get the panel on now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Brandon's here. Man, like Sonny's here. Sonny, your hair got long and blonde, bruv. It's long and blonde.
I don't cut the fringe anymore, and I think it's the lighting. It is still brown, just about.
If I put my head down like that, I look like I've had a fucking X-ray. You can see my scalp. You can see my skull. So fair play to you. And I need to ask you, I know you work with me at Snack. Is it Louis or Lewis? You're on mute, brother.
I should know that. It's Louis, not Lewis, but everyone's called
Louis.
Lewis.
Cool.
Louis.
There we go. I get confused by it. And full disclosure, you're a big wrestling fan. The football terror community will tell you, I tend to laugh at adults that watch wrestling, but for you,
so do I. So do I. To be honest, I when people ask what my job is, you got to like fluff it a little bit and be like, oh, like I cover combat sports, because saying you write about men in their little underpants doesn't always work too well. But no, it's all right.
You cover the EastEnders of combat sports. I hear you, bro. Now, do you know what? Like, on a real level, I have respect for the stunts they perform. Absolutely impeccable. A lot of people don't know as well. Obviously, Give Me Sports access with WWE and wrestling is massive, isn't it? Like, in terms of the access you have to actual stars, people, like it's legit.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good thing going at Snack, Give Me Sport, with WWE, with wrestling as a whole, doing good numbers all the time. So yeah, it's if that's your bag, head on over to Give Me Sport, because we've got a lot of WWE access there, which I'm leading up. So if that is your bag, head on over there. If not, no worries.
Yeah, a lot of people here saying, yo, wrestling is the one. I mean, I always get pelters for having a go at it, and it's kind of why I do it, really. This is my favorite.
Wrestling fans are one of the most sensitive fan bases out there.
They are.
Because we're just told all the time, your thing's fake. And we're like, yeah, we know it's fake. Just chill.
It's just it's all a bit of fun. But we're here to talk transfers this evening. 2 Liverpool fans, and of course a Gooner here with me. I need to go to you first, Bran. What are your expectations tomorrow? Do you expect Arsenal to do anything?
Nothing at all, Terry. I don't see anything happening. We're talking about sensitive fan bases. Arsenal's a sensitive fan base as well, mate. No, I don't see anything happening, mate. Maybe a Hossam Awar, you know. I think anything we do from now is a panic buy. It just simply is a panic buy. We should have got our recruitment right in the beginning of the summer. I think the best we can hope for is that Man City come in for Mikel Arteta as Pep's bitch again. But apart from that, I don't see anything happening, mate. I really don't.
I do hear you, mate. We're getting a bit of interference again with your line again. Have you got any earphones you could put in? Yeah, just try that for us, mate. See if that improves it a little bit. Sorry about that. And how about yourself, Sonny? We haven't really spoke for the majority of the summer. I know you've been away, I know you've been busy and everything else. You're always very honest. Are you part of communist Merseyside that is playing this down like it's a masterstroke and a brilliant summer, or are you frustrated at the lack of investment from your club in new players?
Well, the honest answer, if you're being honest, is the lack of investment. Like, I've got a picture on me here, which is crazy. I'll read this through quickly. This is just how pretty much we're being lied to. This is in May, we're being told. These are the Liverpool reporters. So these are basically the most reliable sources coming out of Liverpool. In May, we're told Redbird investment expected to cover all losses during the period of the pandemic. June, we're being told COVID has impacted Liverpool's transfer plans. July, we're being told Liverpool want a midfielder and at least one forward. Still in July, Bowen's just one of the forwards on Liverpool's attacking shortlist. Still July, Liverpool now need a sell to buy. Coming to August now, the club sold players. We probably sold probably about 6-7 players by now. And now it's saying Liverpool need to sell players who are not homegrown to free a spot in the squad. August still, the club sells Shaqiri now. And look, if we're not bringing an attacker, I'm not being funny. You do not sell Shaqiri. Shaqiri's still there or thereabouts in our attack as a good player. Then we go later on in August. Liverpool don't want a forward now, apparently. And now Michael Edwards is leaving. So for me, I just think, even if I was going to speak about a different thing where You go back 2 years ago where we're told next summer is going to be the big summer. I remember we won the Champions League and we signed Harvey Elliott, Sepp van den Berg, and Adrian, who made us worse. And then we're all panicking. We're all saying this isn't good enough. And then we're told by the likes of Fabrizio Romano, the most reliable sources, saying no worries because next summer is going to be the big summer. The next summer comes around, we're kind of not really feeling that anymore because the pandemic's been here. So what the journalists are saying, we're still gonna make a few signs, which we did. I think it was Jota, Tsimikas, Thiago. That's an all right summer. So even though we were told we were going to have a good summer that summer, we didn't get where we wanted to really improve. So there's still complaints now. And we're going, we haven't really filled the positions where we needed to. So then the journalists reply saying, it's okay, that's just a pandemic. And then the Redbird things comes in and saying, this is where the next summer is going to be big. It's going to be the plays we're going to improve the squad. We need to improve it. And then we're told that. And then we come to the next summer, which is now, and we've signed Kounde in April and gone the whole summer without signing anyone. So I think you kind of know the answer to that, Terry. We've not invested where we need to. If Firmino's got a bad injury, I don't know if his scan results back yet. If he gets injured, we need to rush in the next 24 hours to sign an attacker. Because if we don't, and Firmino's got a bad injury, or even not Firmino, say it's a different attacker even next month, and someone gets injured, we are screwed because then we only have 3 attackers who can play. And we're forgetting about AFCON. And I'm not even impressed about January. I don't think we're going to sign anyone then. So it's about now. And we need to do it quickly if we are. But let's be real. We're signing no one tomorrow. That's a spoiler. We're signing no one.
Lou, how about yourself, mate? I mean, obviously we've spoke in Snack's offices about this, and you were pretty positive about your summer and the outlook for next season. If I remember correctly, I could have got that wrong. How do you feel? Do you agree with Sonny that it's a big disappointment? We look at the vote here. We've got a poll currently running. You're currently second on that, with 33% of the vote saying, your club has let the fans down this window. What's your take, mate?
I'm happy. I'm positive. I think the season's going to be fine. I get the frustration. I really do, because you look at teams around you like Man United, like Chelsea, like United, bringing in marquee signings, whereas we've brought in a 4th choice centre-back, a good one and one for the future, but at the end of the day, a 4th choice centre-back. I get it. I get the frustration. But I think you have to look at things from a realistic point of view. And Liverpool fans are very quick to praise FSG, Michael Edwards, Jurgen Klopp for not really making panic buys. Apart from obviously in January this year when we had to with the centre-back problems, we never really make panic buys. We only buy if the opportunity is right and if the business is right. And that's one of the things that myself and other Liverpool fans have praised FSG for and praised the whole recruitment team for. See, if you're of that mindset, you've also got to be of the mindset of if the bargains were there and the opportunities were there, Liverpool would be making signings. So I'm happy. And listen, I know the whole trust the process thing and Arsenal fans banter about it. Liverpool fans have every right to trust the process because of the process has served us pretty well. And if the board and FSG and Klopp and the recruitment haven't found the right opportunity for a midfielder and a forward and they trust the options we got, you know what? I'm happy with that. And
what about your opinion? Surely you say there's bargains there, because you see even a Patson Daka for 20 mil, a Doku, there's players there and they're bargains, but we don't go for
I
them.
wouldn't say Doku's a bargain. I mean, the price is being quoted at 50 million euros. That's more than we pay.
But the players there and thereabouts. You see a lot of other clubs getting those bargains. I have no idea why we aren't looking at them. Bayern have just signed Sabitzer for around 20-something million. That is an amazing signing. We need to sign someone like that. Gini Wijnaldum, who played for us for about 5-ish years, almost never missed a game. And we're not going to replace him.
So the thing I get with that is you look at, for example, Harvey Elliott before the season, none of us thought, we thought he'd get the cup games. But, I mean, he started in probably, and not even probably, one of Liverpool's biggest games of the season so far and what will become the end of the season. So Klopp clearly sees him as a midfield option. Thiago was signed last year when we didn't sell a midfielder. So he was clearly the Gini replacement just a year early. And the thing, I get the Gini argument, and I get it. But I think Liverpool fans are so worried based on what happened last season. But if you put a sensible hat on for a minute and think what happened last season is not going to happen again. It's simply not in terms of injuries. Because those aren't injuries like muscle injuries where they're happening all the time. Gomez, no one was near him. I mean, Pickford was some sort of WWE stuff that I watch on a daily basis to Van Dijk. Like stuff like that isn't going to happen. Matip potentially, but that's why we've got Kounde in. And Phillips looks like he's saying, so we've got 5 centre-backs. I think Liverpool fans are so worried because of what happened last season that it's kind of clouding our judgment of what we think is going to happen this season. But I do want to say, before this summer, we were all concerned about the contract situation. That has been sorted this year in terms of Van Dijk extending, Fabinho extending, Trent, Robertson as well. It's an important thing to do. It shouldn't be
tomorrow there is going to be an announcement from Liverpool tomorrow. You are going to announce tomorrow that Jordan Henderson has signed a new deal. That is coming probably about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, just so the talk elsewhere kind of dies down on that. Go on, Brandon.
I just wanted to ask these guys a question as well. Are you not worried though that Liverpool could come a little bit unstuck in future seasons by standing still in transfer windows? You know, you look at teams like Chelsea, for example, they won, the Champions League last season. They've still looked to improve their squad in this summer. Same for Manchester City. And then you've got teams, like Manchester United constantly improving their squad, Leicester as well. If Liverpool keeps standing still in transfer windows, does that worry you that it can affect you in future seasons?
I've said this to Terry before when we've chatted, but I mean, I'll repeat it again. The Man United business, listen, it's very good business. Varane's a great signing, one of the best centre-backs in the league and in the world. Sancho's great. Ronaldo's Ronaldo. You don't say no to Ronaldo. But they still got holes in their squad. They still don't have a defensive midfielder that they desperately need. So if I look at Man United coming out of the window, there's still a hole in their squad, in their first 11. But if I look at Liverpool's team coming out, yes, maybe Mane could do with a bit of refreshing, maybe Firmino as well, but Jota's coming through to do that. We don't have a glaring hole in our squad that you're like, damn, we need to fill that. And I mean, yes, it is a partial concern that we're going to stagnate, but when you're extending the contract of for me, 2 of the best fullbacks in the world, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, the best defender in the world, it does, and the best centre defensive midfielder in the world, it does come with a certain level of assurance of right, while the likes of, for example, Man United are going to have to sort the Paul Pogba situation next year, whether he leaves or goes or stays. Liverpool have got that base sorted. So it's just going to be the fine tuning around that, where maybe one player comes in or another player comes in, but we aren't going to have to do a mass overhaul because we've got the solid foundation there. So for me, I'm not too concerned, but I do understand why people are.
Yeah, I hear you on that. We have a super chat here. The first one says, curious, Brandon, are you more angry at how atrocious Arsenal are or that you look like a peacock? I suppose it's the Jedward hair, isn't it? It's the Jedward hair. But I mean, I'm not slagging it off because I wish my hair could do that still. It doesn't. My hair is thin, brother, thin. Terry, my man, if United do not get a central defensive midfielder, how would you rate the transfer window? And any possibility they would? Great show, my man. Keep up the good work. There's always a possibility that we can. I feel like Man United might sign another player if the right deal presents itself. If I would have said to you 5 days ago, we're going to sign Cristiano Ronaldo, you'd have all said I'm a madman. So I'm not going to say never. This window, no one can say never do anything. How would I rate the window still? Impeccable. Still impeccable. And I understand people's thought process around, but we haven't signed the position that I think, as in these individuals, is the most important. But there was again, people don't read the reports, and I know they don't read the reports. They'll listen to what a top journalist says, and it will be United are not looking at a central midfielder. But they don't read the article. They don't read the body of work, what they've been told and why. And one of the biggest things that has been reported on this summer consistently is that Declan Rice is one of the main targets, but too expensive for us to get this year. Camavinga is looked at as a main target, but the club felt it was too early for him to come into the football club. So there is this feeling of Man United for 3 or 4 years post-Fergie. And we know this because of what was fed back into us by LVG and Jose. And all the fans that are angry moaned about this when we learned after the fact that we were buying 3rd, 4th, 5th choice players that the managers weren't massively keen on. We've got to stop doing it, stop doing it, stop doing it. You then have a summer where we can't land for one reason or another our main couple of targets, and everybody's just like, but we just got to buy someone, anyone, someone. So, but that's the exact behavior you moaned about the club having before. So this is where it becomes preference and subjectivity versus objectivity. I would prefer Ruben Neves to Declan Rice because I think he's a better football player. But I've been pretty happy with Man United's recruitment under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The only real flop that he's bought has been Dan James, and we're about to sell him for double what we bought him for. So from a transfer perspective, it's been a pretty good deal. If every player you bought that flopped, you sold for double the money you purchased them for, I wouldn't be as angry about them being bad players, right? Because you can reinvest that money. Most of these players have gone on to be pretty damn good for us. So if his train of thought is, I want to stick with what I've got and go all in next year, just say, for instance, for Declan Rice, I know Chelsea are going to go in for him. It's going to be hard. I'm happy to wait because although there is the short-termism that we have every year as fans, as I always say, this isn't the season finale of Game of Thrones or The Sopranos, where we have to have all the loose ends tied up how we want them this year because that's it forever. No, you have to sometimes be a little bit patient with it. So my preference is Ruben Neves. Actually, no, my preference is Marco Verratti, but I know it's an impossible transfer. Ruben Neves has been my guy all summer over pretty much everybody else for a more holding midfield role. But if Ollie wants to wait for Declan Rice or somebody else, I'm kind of comfortable with it. So that's what I would look at with an answer like that. It's a lot of people say it's like passing the buck, or you're not. I saw a funny comment here. Like, that's just how I look at these things, and it's not. I don't want us to panic. But the one thing I would say about Liverpool is Liverpool tend to only go for their main targets and nobody else. That could be the case this year. I'm not actually having a go at Liverpool's approach. But I think that your squad's too thin if you don't sign anybody tomorrow to win the league, because I think you will get injuries. Why? Because most squads get injuries. You're more likely to get 2 or 3 injuries in your squad than not. And that's any club at any time. So I just feel like the squad's going to be a little bit too thin. It's a year older. And I said it last season, and my mind hasn't been changed yet. I think your front three as a collective are stale. And that happens. And the reason I say that is Fergie spoke about this in his book. And he spoke about it many, many times over the 25 years I watched him. The necessity to refresh a title-winning team was important to keep everybody on their toes to inject some new blood. And I think elements of that Liverpool team need it. However, you may have a number one target that just isn't attainable this year, so you're going to wait, and that's your approach. So I'm in two minds with it, if that makes sense. I know why and what you're doing, but at the same time, I still think it's going to leave you short in the short term in relation to what you can do kind of moving forward, if that makes sense. I know that was a long answer to your super chat, but thank you very much for sending that in and giving us your thoughts and feelings. Now, gents, I want to ask your opinions on a particular deal. 30 million quid for Dan James, Sonny. How good a business is that? I mean, as what's his name? As Edwards from Liverpool joined Man United or something? Because that for me seems like a robbery. 30 million for Dan James.
I don't know. What is this for Leeds? Is it?
Yes, it's a club record signing for them, and it makes Dan James the 5th most expensive player ever sold by Man United, just behind David Beckham, and in front of literally only got David Beckham, Di Maria, Lukaku, and Ronaldo in front of him for most expensive player sold.
I don't know where the 30 million comes from, because I can't name you one successful cross he's delivered in the box. He just runs and loses the ball as soon as he kicks it. So I don't know what to tell you. It's just not 30 million. He's not worth 30 million. He's not worth 20 million. I'd argue if he's worth 10 million. He's not done anything in a United shirt to even be worth 10 million. So for Leeds to be paying that money, they must be changing their system simply for him, because there's no other solution to it.
I completely disagree. I think he's Leeds through and through. I think he's Bielsa just likes runners who just run and run and run and run and run. And you can say anything about Dan James, it's that boy runs. And I think he's just suited for Leeds. I think Bielsa will be looking at him as a bit of a project, someone that he can kind of refine the edges for, because Dan James has the stamina and the pace. It's just improving he is a slightly worse Adama Traore in the sense that he's quick, but his final product isn't great. And I think that if you look at maybe refining that, and maybe that's something Bielsa sees, then sure. I actually think Dan James against certain teams is suited. Like if I was Man United last season, I would have played him against Liverpool, for example, because you're going to sit there and you're going to want to pen the fullbacks as far back as possible. So play Dan James to do that. And I think in certain games, someone like Dan James, who is incredibly quick and you can't give that much space to, would be so important. So yeah, I think 30 million is a bit steep, but I think he's a decent player. But 30 million, yeah, it's good business for Man United.
Brandon, how about yourself? I mean, do you agree? I mean, we all know. Do you know what I not a worry about, because everyone knows my thoughts on Ollie. I get a feeling he's going to do well at Leeds, and then it's going to be backlash against Ollie. Oh my God, why couldn't you get this out of him? I sometimes feel like, don't you think, Brandon, sometimes with football fans, the phrase I always use is horses for courses. Some players just don't work out at particular clubs for whatever reason. You know, you can look at a player like Diogo Jota, looks 10 times a player at Liverpool, like always rated him. But it looks a much better player at Liverpool than he did at Wolves. Looks far more potent, far more deadly. He very rarely looked like he was going to score at Wolves. At Liverpool, if they create the chances, he looks like he's always going to do it. So, I mean, how do you think you'll go down for 30 million quid? Do you think you'll be a success at Ellen Road?
Well, just what you were saying there about players not fitting at certain clubs. A good example of that would be Wilfried Zaha when he went to Manchester United. You know, couldn't really get a game, didn't really get the opportunities that he required, and that went back to Crystal Palace. Okay, he's not the greatest player in the world, but he's their main man. He scores goals for them and all that lot. I think Dan James will do all right at Leeds. I think he's perfectly suited to Leeds in the way that they play, because they try to hit you with pace on the counter attack on quite a regular. They're very attack minded, especially down the flanks, and that. I think he'll do all right at Leeds. In terms of Manchester United, though, that is daylight robbery. It kind of reminds me of Alex Iwobi being sold to Everton for £40 million, and he's not really done anything. So, yeah, good business by Manchester United. Maybe Edu could learn a thing or two.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw it. Sorry, Terry. I saw a thing online. So some guy obviously theorized it. Cavani's obviously going to get the 21 shirt, and kind of for FA rules, to get that, Dan James had to be sold. Like, he couldn't be like, just give him the shirt. So supposedly that's what's going to happen. And supposedly, obviously, it's rubbish, but that's why a fan has theorized why Dan James has been sold to free up the 21 shirt for Cavani, so Ronaldo can get 7.
Well, I heard literally the same thing, and I actually don't think it's too far from the truth, really. Someone told me that today, that they won't announce Ronaldo officially until Dan James is gone, because they want to do it with the number 7 shirt. It's more romantic. Cavani reportedly couldn't, like most professional footballers should. And fans care about numbers so much. I remember when Martial's number was taken away, and they looked at it like, oh my God, you just like killed him. It's like was it Samuel or somebody, when, you know, you cut off his hair and lost all his powers? You know, you take the number 9 shirt away and suddenly Samson, that's the one. You know what I mean? You take Martial's number away and suddenly he can't control a ball anymore. Reportedly, Cavani's just said, great, fine, give it to him. I don't care. I just want to play football. Like, you know, I think Ronaldo wants it because it's the numbers. Man United want it as well. Have you seen the share price at Man United since he joined? Have you seen the lack of... I saw a statistic today. Juve's Twitter account has lost something like nearly 200,000 followers since Ronaldo left. Like, the monetary value of Cristiano Ronaldo is ridiculous. So, and him in the most famous football shirt in the world ever, the number 7 of Manchester United, it's going to generate a hell of a lot of money. But there is some breaking news right now. Wow. Breaking news coming up from in relation to Chelsea here. This has been an update here from Mr. Kinsella from Goal, who has said that the Jules Kounde deal is more important to Chelsea than the Saul Niguez one. Now, I think we all kind of knew that, but it's now been confirmed by a very credible journalist when it comes to Chelsea Football Club in relation to that deal. I would very much, a few people have been asking about it, I'd very much expect Chelsea to go back in and try and get this situation with Jules Kounde resolved. From your point of view, Sonny, do you see that being a deal that Chelsea will get over the line?
Jules Kounde?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they will. And the thing about that, I don't want to go into Chelsea fans, but I think that really annoys me almost more than Liverpool itself, is all I've seen on social media is Chelsea fans crying that they've only signed £100 million Romelu Lukaku. And it just makes me think, you would not last 20 minutes with FSG as their owners. Because when you have FSG as your owners, you're looking at these players, but you never even get to an advanced stage. They're at an advanced stage, or they're going to be at an advanced stage with Kounde. They've signed £100 million Romelu Lukaku without selling players. And I've even seen the likes of Chelsea fans on Twitter the other day saying, only with Chelsea you get this stress. I see Man City fans saying when they weren't signing Ronaldo, only with Man City you get this stress. And I'm like, you would not last 2 minutes with even a little bit degraded owners than what they already have. So look, I think they will get the Kounde deal, and then they will be happy again because they'll stop crying once they finally finalise the deal, because that's all that matters to them. At the moment, while the deal's not completed, they'll cry about it. It'll get completed and they'll forget, and they'll call the owner a genius because he splashed about 200 million saying, oh, it's a bargain. That's how it always turns out with Chelsea players. So it'll be the same again.
Mate, listen, I totally hear you on that. I mean, Chelsea fans have been panicking the majority of the summer. I remember just before the Lukaku deal went through, they were on here. We had Dean Jones on, and they would just flap. And it didn't make any real sense to me. Dan McCarthy, of course, who works alongside Simon Phillips, very good guy, has tweeted out saying, now being reported everywhere, Chelsea haven't given up on either. Now looking to move forward. Now, remember this. Whenever a transfer is called dead, don't believe it. You know, just before Man United signed Cristiano Ronaldo, he was done. He was getting City. The way it sounded, the way it was being reported. Some deals were reported. What did the most credible and most famous transfer journalist in the world say a day before the Lukaku deal really moved forward? Impossible. So just because it's reported as closed, all I do here is report the aggregated news. Doesn't mean it's cast iron. You know, someone said to me earlier, I don't care what anyone says until I hear it from Fabrizio. I'm like, bruv, it's great. But Fabrizio could say it's finished now because the club tell him it's finished. And then Chelsea come in and put the money in. Like Sevilla could ring up Fabrizio now and say, we haven't had the offer in today. It's done. So Fabrizio says it's done. Chelsea then pick up the phone and say, listen, there's 68 million. And Sevilla go, he's yours. Fabrizio wasn't a liar. Fabrizio wasn't wrong. He was right at that particular moment in time. But transfers can change at any moment. Sonny ranting. He'd want to give his sheet an iron.
Look at this. I've been away all summer, man. It's been in a wardrobe that's folded up.
I do actually want to say one thing to Sonny.
Yeah,
based on his rant, though. I get the concern with, like, if we were any other club, I get it. But when I mean Fabrizio Romano and James Pearce, even to an extent, know nothing. They know nothing. Like, Liverpool don't, or they're told not to say anything because Liverpool journalists don't know anything. It's not like a Chelsea where their sagas are known throughout the window. So when like the Redbird thing happens, I'm sure that's what they think. And I think a lot of their stuff is opinion pieces. Like the Henderson stuff, when everyone lost their minds. Yes, the contract bit was true, but the whole leaving part, that's an opinion piece. So I think Liverpool fans, and the quicker they realize this, the better, don't take too much stock into what the journalists say. Unless, of course, it's like, right, he's gone for a medical and they've been told for the club, you can say this. In terms of who's interested, who's this, a lot of it is just opinion-based.
I get that. But in terms of this window, tomorrow's deadline day and we've only signed Kounde. Like, I get that. For me, there's just been so many availabilities where you don't need to be like a football professional to see that. So I can only criticize the club off that. But I get that Liverpool obviously more locked down with their news than any other club, more secretary. But still, after this window, tomorrow's deadline day, I very highly doubt we're going to make a signing tomorrow.
No, I agree. But I've seen like people, I know Fabrizio said in May, like Liverpool will make more signings after Kounde. Like, personally, I don't think he was told that by anyone at Liverpool. I think that was an opinion piece from him or a piece of information that he thought would have come right based on his feelings. I don't reckon he was told that. So I think Liverpool fans are then going, look, Liverpool, where are our signings? It's like the club doesn't promise you anything. Like the club never said we're actively going to sign people. Like we're actively looking. Of course they wouldn't. But I just think that sometimes Liverpool fans take too much stock in what the journalists say, particularly with Liverpool news when it is so hard to break because who knows?
I do hear you on that, gents. Yeah, but No, I hear you on the Liverpool news. It is sparse and very difficult, but we have some breaking news that we need to bring you now, ladies and gentlemen, in relation to Arsenal Football Club. And this could be hugely, hugely, hugely damning. Tweet here from the AFC Bell says, in the next few hours, some leaks may appear about one of the prominent personalities at the club. Many people think this is relation to Edu. And if the information that will be published is correct, regardless of whether it is right or wrong. There will be huge question marks on the random way in managing and making decisions at the highest level of the club. And I, for one, hope and I, for one, pray that this comes out, and it comes out in shed loads. I don't care about professionalism here. I care about fans being given the transparency required. I'm only speculating here that it's Edu. People are saying that it's Edu. I'm going to give this a little retweet as well. Big up the AFC Bell. And the reason that I say this is very, very clear and very, very simple, and I'll bring the panel back through in a moment, is because some of the decisions at Arsenal Football Club this summer make no sense. Now, I've called out a lot of Arsenal fans. I've called them cuckolds for doing this, where they've overtly defended, where they've been too supportive. They've been too supportive of that of Arsenal Football Club, where they have been too easy to say, no, we weren't in advanced talks with James Maddison. We weren't close to agreeing a fee for Lautaro Martinez, who was willing to join us weeks before Lukaku left Inter Milan. We weren't £10 million shy of at least getting near to the asking price with Leicester City with James Maddison. They've bought a goalkeeper they didn't need for 30-odd million pounds. That money, plus what they paid for Odegaard, would have got them one of their number one targets. They were outbid and outfought for Buendia, who was their number one target in a creative position. How do we know this? He's the first person they went for in that position. They bought £50 million Ben White, very good player. Was that a necessity this summer? Now, Mikel Arteta gets a lot of the blame for this, and I understand why, out of his depth. But there is some decision-making issues at this football club. Whether it's backhanders, whether it's favoritism, whether it's supporting and helping agents that are more favorable to Edu or not. At the end of the day, whatever this is, it needs to come out. It needs to be spoken about with a great length. I do get the feeling this is going to be ignored by a lot of big accounts. This is the type of thing that doesn't really get a lot of traction on social media, is in like content creating about it. But it's really important because it's the running of the football club that has put Arsenal where they are. It isn't the managers themselves, the Wengers, the Emerys, the Artetas. They're a part of the problem. It's the kamikaze cowboy way your football club is run. It's atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious. And I'm glad this is coming out. I'm glad somebody is leaking it. Hopefully this is the wake-up call for Arsenal fans. Boycott the club. Boycott putting your money in. Boycott everything. Cut the snake's head off. Been calling for you to do this for 5 years on socials, and still you go back. And still you buy the shirts, and still you buy the merchandise, and still you buy the burgers and the programs. Still you don't protest with enough gusto on a regular basis. And that's fine. But if you're willing to have your club treat you like this, I'm not saying you deserve it per se, but you kind of do. If you're willing to accept it, thus the cuckold. Big up to some of the Arsenal fans that I know are actually standing up against this. But I hope this comes out, and I hope it's damning. I hope it's painful, and I hope it resonates. And I hope there's an uprising at Arsenal Football Club amongst the fans, and they take back and they show the power that they have. The power is with the fans. You just need to be willing to yield it. You need to be willing to yield it as a fan base. Do you love your club enough to have tough love? Walk away. That is how you show your club that you love it. Point blank. KJ's joined us now. We've got young Samuel with us also. How are both of you? You good, Samuel? KJ, good?
Yeah. I mean, the only good news of the transfer window so far is if it's true and Edu gets sacked, that's the only good thing of this transfer window for Arsenal. Everything else is shit.
But remember, Edu being sacked isn't the issue.
Mm.
It's your club hiring the right people and ensuring. At the end of the day, Edu's only allowed to get away with what he gets away with because your club don't care. Your owners don't care. I own, partly now, the Football Terrace. If KJ's shows are awful, but I allow his shows to continue, it's not KJ's fault. It's mine. It's my fault because it's my baby. It's my channel. And it doesn't matter what Edu or Arteta or the players do in the root cause. The problem is the owners. If they're letting players misbehave and get away, oh, screw the players, because bring new players in. If the culture is bad, culture eats strategy for breakfast every day of the week. And until your owners create the right culture at the club, you are screwed. Facts. You're just
100%.
screwed. Brandon, when you see this, we don't quite know exactly what this is going to allude to, but what do you think when you see this, Brandon?
Well, hopefully it does allude to the fact that Edu's being sacked, because while I completely agree with what you just said there, Terry, it all stems from the owners. There has to be questions being asked. We've spent 130 million in this transfer window without actually improving our first team. Pretty much every player we've brought is a backup. We still haven't filled the void of the positions that we need to fill. We still need a right back. We still need an attacking midfielder, in my eyes. You know, maybe even possibly a striker. So you've spent that sort of money. The owners have, you know, allowed you to spend that sort of money. It's terrible, mate. It really is. Like, we're sitting bottom of the league, and there's not even a single player that we've signed that we can pick out and say, do you know what? It doesn't matter, because when he starts playing, we'll be all right. You know, do you see what I'm trying to say?
Brandon, also one thing about Arteta as well is what the fans said. Some of them, me included, saying, "Listen, he needs backing. He finally got the backing, and listen, he ain't good enough. Even when the backing is not good enough, you can point the fingers anywhere. But this time we spent the most in the Premier League, so that's out the window now, and he's failed."
That weren't backing though. Let's be honest here. What Mikel Arteta got, yes, he's not good enough anyway. But what Mikel Arteta got is not backing. Backing is not just spending money, because if your kid is dying and he's a heart transplant and you buy them a Ferrari, it ain't saving the kid. You're not backing your child. You're just letting it die, bruv. You know what I'm saying? So him getting all these players to go sideways is not backing a manager. It's just saying, here's something to not even remedy the issue. Just go do something with it. So Mikel Arteta has been backed. He's just had a lot of money spent on him. Yes, is not good enough. He's not good enough. He needs to get gone. But neither is Edu, and neither is your flipping football club. So everything needs to start all over again from ground zero and build back up. Because sacking Arteta, sacking Edu ain't fixing it. It's rotten, bro. Absolutely rotten.
Now, I hear you on that completely. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out in relation to that. We had a nice super chat that came through saying, listening to Lou on Chelsea is refreshing, get him on more. There was a reply to that comment, though. But it's very funny. I can't see where it is, but it says, Louis' mum's watching. Which I thought was good. Which I thought was.
I do have to say, Terry, you know, I was saying that I'm happy with our transfer business. Rumors are now that Roberto Firmino's out for 3 months.
Oh my, mate, you might score some goals now.
Wait,
So
has anyone?
I'm now getting a little bit concerned.
Yeah, has anyone touched on this rumor going around about Liverpool inquiring about Callum Hudson-Odoi?
Oh, stop it! Stop it!
I've seen it about a couple of places. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to stir no pot and nothing. Like, this is general I've seen on the TL. If they're fake sources or fake accounts, let me know, bro. You know what I mean? But I've seen some accounts saying Liverpool are inquiring or looking into the possibility of getting Joe. I don't think that's possible.
No. So what there was earlier on today, there was a report that an English club was looking at bringing him in. Oh, hang on a minute. There's a comment here. No, see, this is a fake account. There was an English club was looking at him. That turned out to be Leicester that had made some loose inquiries, but I don't see Chelsea letting him go to a Prem rival, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I mean, they need someone in that area. I haven't really heard of it. Leaf here says Emerson opinions. Obviously, that's the not Chelsea's Emerson, that's Barcelona's Emerson. I mean, what I like about that, it must be painful to Arsenal fans because basically he's picking. What I read, he's picking Spurs over Arsenal essentially.
Yeah, and then also they offered 10 million and Bellerin, and then man were like, nah, we want the 20 million and Bellerin, and obviously Arsenal ain't looking to give that. So that also didn't help. So Barcelona rejected Arsenal, and so did Emerson. So,
but that's
is he that good of a player?
He's good.
Now Spurs just have 3 average right backs if he's not that good. Doherty's not that good. Aurier's not that good. Is he that good though? Is he good enough to start for a Premier League top 16?
He's 22. He's very good going forward. Which if Nuno wants to go to a back three and use him as a wing back, he's solid there. He's solid defensively. I think he'll be one for the present, partially, but mainly for the future. I think it's a good bit of business, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about him, but do you know what? When we think about what we were just talking about there, what the AFC Bell put out, it's these kind of decisions. They were £10 million shy of signing one of their main targets to cover that right back area. They said no, and they spent £30 million on a backup goalkeeper. That's what doesn't make sense. Like, when you break it down, it doesn't make sense. If you don't, literally, you were 10 million shy of Maddison. You were very, very close in fees to Lautaro Martinez, within the £5 to £10 million mark, and £10 million shy of Emerson. Literally, signing Ramsdale meant you didn't get any of those players. Take that 30 mil, stick £10 million into those extra deals, and you're there. And the maddest bit is, I've actually had a couple of them. You'll all know who they are. I'm not going to mention them because I don't do online beefs. But tell me they can't watch me talk Arsenal anymore because I'm not an Arsenal fan and I'm too negative about their club. It isn't right that I'm negative and honest about their club. And I just told them to block me then, please. That's all my response was. Like, I ain't getting into a to and fro with a grown man over his feelings about my opinion on his football club. And I'm like, listen, I'm not saying all three of those deals would happen if you pumped an extra £10 million into each transfer bid. But they could have done. Like, go for it. Like, if you'd have matched Leicester's asking price and they still said no one can complain. There's reports today that that's what Madrid have done. Madrid actually reached the asking price that PSG were quoting, and PSG still said no. No one at Madrid can then moan their club hasn't tried. And that's the thing with Arsenal that gets to me. 10 million extra. And this Emerson kid might end up going to Tottenham. And listen, I know a lot of people, Nuno is a class manager. And if he gets the right quality of player in at Tottenham, he could get them doing bits. He could legitimately get them doing bits. This is could be, honestly, this could be one of those, like we went through that 5-year period where we kept on seeing all these great players, Yayas on Zlatans and that. And it was always, this is another one that Arsenal could have signed. I think Emerson could end up being one of them, Arsenal are a madness, Terry, killing me. I hear you on that. Sorry, someone was going to say something. Who's that?
I'll tell you, Matt Law said, I think a couple hours ago, that we could have signed Pedri a couple of years ago as well from Las Palmas, but we turned them down.
That's those ones where they're like, because when they're kids and stuff, you never actually truly know if they're going to turn out to whatever. So
I mean, Liverpool could have signed Ronaldo.
United could have signed Mbappe. Like we could have signed Martinelli. You know what I mean? Like, look how that turned out. So when they say, you could have signed this kid when they were 14, it is what it is. Like you win some, you lose some in that regard. So I wouldn't, as an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. They're just trying to get you angry.
Because for every you could have signed Pedri, you did end up signing someone who turned out to be a nobody. When they're that age, you don't know, and it's like it's basically Russian roulette at that point. But I was watching the beginning of the Arsenal game, and I felt bad for Arteta, and I've honestly felt bad for Arteta throughout this whole window, because you look at Arsenal and call it the first 20 minutes. Like the first 5 minutes, you were in the game, creating shots, creating chances. It is basically individual errors and moments of madness from your own players that are costing you. And Arteta can't account for that, in my opinion. Like, he can't account for Xhaka just diving in too far.
Yeah, but I'm going to jump in here, and this is where Arteta fails. Yeah,
Go on.
He decided to play Kolasinac, who's a player who we know is not good enough for this football club, right? Because we decided to play with a back three, which is fair enough. Everybody was calling for that anyway. Because we all as fan base agreed that we should have played that against Chelsea because we was getting exposed down that right hand side. Mm-hmm. But last season, whenever we played with a back three, we had Tierney as one of the centre backs. Why didn't he just do that again and then play his brand new signing, Tavares, on the left instead? It's decision making from the manager as well. Kounde has been one of our brightest sparks in the 2 games that we've lost. And he's decided, I'm going to chuck him on the bench today. Granit Xhaka's going to play in midfield. And what happened? He got sent off again, like he constantly does. Like he lets us down every single season. It's appalling. It's shocking man management from this manager. It really is.
And you're right. And Arteta is just so out of his depth It's unbelievable. So I feel sorry for him, but I feel sorry for someone because you can just see they're drowning, and I think he's trying hard, but he doesn't know what to do. We have a super chat here that says, back in May, when I said Liverpool wouldn't sign anyone but Kounde, I got laughed at. Who's laughing now? I didn't want to be right, but I knew it, is what Mr. Dare I Say It Drift.
Man said Luke was laughing now while his team's buying nobody, bro. That's how they are, fam.
It's like people want to be proved right so much they're happy when their team don't make signings, and it's just such a weird mindset.
It says here, look, no players in or out tomorrow, if true about Edu. I think what the most poisonous and scary thing for Arsenal fans will be if this news from the AFC bill comes out and is very, very damning, is that's two of your kind of chief transfer the gurus at your club in the past couple of years that you're basically removing for malpractice, fraud, and overall dodginess. I mean, it's essentially what it is at the end of the day. You had the lad who went before because he was skimming money off the top. You could now have Edu for having terrible practices. And that's what I mean by the people running. How close are the people to running your football? They're not close to your business at the end of the day, you know, and you have to be close to your business.
But then it's up to the fans to change that, isn't it, Terry? You know, we're the paying customers. We have the power to change this. But we as a fan base are so fickle. You've still got people that are trusting this process. You've still got people that are backing this manager. Even now, you know, they can't see that this process is being run by an owner who does not care about a football club. We tried to do a protest, and we did one half decent protest when the Super League stuff came about. After that, it died of a quick death. You know, you see about 8 fans turn up every now and again. You know, people going into the club shop buying the merchandise and stuff. The fans, they don't know what's going on themselves. You know, they don't know where their head's at. 1 minute they're Arteta out, next minute they're Arteta in because we just beat West Brom. You know, that's how fickle this fan base is. We as a fan base need to come together to change this. That's the only way we're going to get change at a football club.
The thing is,
go on, Sam.
The thing is some Arteta fans who just, I think they don't want to swallow their pride and admit the other side was right. You know, I think because they've backed him so much, saying, you know what, they're in fear, saying, you know, oh, they were right, but I don't like this person. I'll just stay Arteta. I'll stay to be Arteta in, so I don't have to apologize. You know, that's what I think it is for some of them.
But if Arteta goes, who'd you get?
But sorry guys, do you see how silly this sounds? Oh, I'm not gonna admit that I was wrong about this. Oh, these guys need to admit I was right about this. The whole thing with Arsenal, from the football club to the fan base, is a shambles. Mm-hmm. You all shouldn't be trying to fight each other to see who's right. You should all be coming together like, right, how do we fix our club? Because even though I want Arteta gone, it doesn't matter that you guys thought he was the guy, because everyone's allowed to support their club with as much hope as they want.
It's impossible in this generation.
That's the issue with it, KG. The fans are attacking each other. Why go after AFTV when, you know, Stan Kroenke? You not go after Stan Kroenke.
Mate, I spoke about this earlier. They're going after AFTV because it's easier than owning their own issues. So they know what people. A lot of people know what I'm saying is true. That's why they don't like me. If you hate the Kroenkes but you're going to the games, I don't want to hear your moaning, because you are feeding that habit. I gave up my season ticket at Manchester United because I no longer wanted to pay money into their hands. I felt it was the right thing to do. I wouldn't make a big song and a dance about it, because that isn't how I am as an individual. That isn't how I am as a person. But at the end of the day, they are the cold hard facts of the matter. But people don't. The problem is people don't like to hear these things. It's as simple as that. So what they do is they deflect. AFTV are why we're bad, and DT's why we're bad, and YouTubers are why we're bad, and all that nonsense. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news. Some breaking news that I need to bring you right about now, ladies and gentlemen. This is massive. It does feed into Manchester United. It does feed into a few other Premier League teams. Big breaking news. Camavinga on the move. Camavinga is joining Real Madrid. medicals on the way. This is being reported by Canal Plus, but also here, as you can see, Get French Football Now, huge and respected publication, often quoted and atted and shared stuff by Fabrizio Romano. They believe that deal is closing in for Camavinga to become a Real Madrid player. And you know what? The only thing I've got to say about that is the Dean machine strikes again. Dean Jones spoke about this deal all summer long and said, yeah, United have looked at him and spoke about him, but the player wants Real Madrid first. Now, interestingly, on Man United, I've reached out to a few journalists today, and I'm not trying to put 2 and 2 together and get 37. They had it confirmed to them earlier on today that Camavinga and Saul Niguez will not be coming to Man United, but they would neither confirm or deny that Ruben Neves was. Wolves like they might be bringing in Renato Sanchez on a season-long loan. It does give Man United that option still around Ruben Neves. Neves might go elsewhere. He might go Liverpool. He might go Tottenham. He might go somewhere else. But Eduardo Camavinga is going to Real Madrid. KJ, what's your reaction to that, my friend?
Not surprised. If you actually use your ears and looked at credible sources, everyone was saying that Camavinga's option is his first choice is Real Madrid. And the fact that Real Madrid couldn't sign Mbappe, you got to go and spend and bolster your squad. The only signing they've made, or the first team signing that I know of that they've made, is David Alaba on a free. Like, Real Madrid, this is not Real Madrid. So them going out to go buy one of the most promising young players in Europe is no surprise to me. And it's no surprise that he wants to go there. It's there. You can learn under some fantastic midfielders in Modric and Cruz and Casemiro. He will get game time there because their midfield is sparse. And he can, if he is part of the resurgence of Real Madrid, getting them back to winning league titles and Champions Leagues, he'll be in Real Madrid folklore. So I'm not surprised at it. I wish him good luck over there. And Man United, we knew this, and that's why we didn't move for him. Imagine if we were trying to move for him all summer just for him to go to Real Madrid. Man United played this one smart, didn't get too involved, and they're looking at the options elsewhere. If that is Ruben Neves, I would welcome it. Not too sure how that's going to pan out though, because Jesse Lingard looks like he's staying. He looks like he wants at least 1 year when Ronaldo taking selfies, doing the Instagram thing, you know what I'm saying, get his followers up. But yeah, if we can't get Lingard out, I don't find it likely that we will end up getting a Ruben Neves. But the Sanchez news is cool. Very interesting, actually, considering he just won the league with Lille and he's going to Wolves on loan. Does that mean Neves is moving? Maybe yes, maybe no. So tomorrow should be interesting for Manchester United fans to see if we actually do something. But all roads lead to no. But we can't say we've had a bad window. We've had a very good window.
KJ, so
Sorry, mate. Go on, Sam.
in the next 24 hours, when the window closes and he signed Neves, this is goes to you as well, Terry. How would you rate Man United's window? Would you say this has been very good, out of like an 8 or 9 or a 10 out of 10, or somewhat lower?
If Man United signed Ruben Neves, you can't say nothing, but it's been a 10 out of 10 window, and we have to go win the league. We've filled the centre back issue with a world class Champions League Varane. We've filled the right wing issue with a again up and coming world class talent in Jadon Sancho. We've went and just randomly bought Ronaldo home because we could. And if we'll go to fill another hole, which is the centre defensive midfield spot, in a Premier League proven player in Neves, you have to say that's a 10 out of 10 window from Manchester United right now, because we improved all over the pitch, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have to go and win the league.
Quadruple, mate. Ronaldo, Varane, Sancho.
I don't know about winning the league. Listen, and I think this
I think we could. I'm not saying we could.
No, I know.
Challenge, I think.
I don't even think the expectations, if you do sign that defensive midfielder, should be winning the league because of how. Listen, yes, you filled that hole in, but I still don't think Man United's team. If you look at it honestly, yes, you made the most improvements out of anyone, but I still don't think your team's as good as starting 11's good as City's, Liverpool's, or Chelsea's personally. So I just think even if you do fill in that hole, I think your team will improve. But you could, and I know Gary Neville said this and got absolutely slated, but I 100% agree with him. Man United could finish 4th but improve. This
You know,
year, based on
Yeah,
I agree with you.
agree.
If you finish fourth with say
Yeah.
like 80 something points, but then everyone else got 86, 87, no, you
Yeah.
have improved in that sense. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Terry. At the
No,
same
go-
time, you look at Man United's team. The only glaring hole is two things: is the midfield and the manager.
Mhm.
Now, if you get a player to fill in one of those midfield spots, you can say, all right, Manchester United midfield is getting better. But if you look at the attack and look how the defense could be, how solid could it be, you can't say that it doesn't line up against any team in the league like it does. So that's why I say if we get a CDM, you have to challenge.
Yeah, and look, we do. I mean, listen, when it comes to what Gary Neville said, people pretend to not have a brain when he said that. I listen to the reaction, I read people's tweets, and I just think, why are you pretending you're thick? Why are you pretending why are you pretending to be dull? It got a lot of traction, but it's like that's obviously what they did it for, because it does. Pretending to be stupid and not understand what he meant. It's, you know, I've been saying for years, Spurs and Arsenal didn't improve at the speed of which I expected. You could literally come, you know, if the league keeps, you could come fourth, but have like an amazing season still. That doesn't necessarily mean you sack your manager. It's not, position isn't important. It's, did you challenge? Were you there or there? You know, what if the fourth and first are separated by 4 or 5 points at the end of the season, and you know you get to the last 2 games and all 4 could win it? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it does, you'd be stupid. Unless your team were like 6 points clear with 3 games to go and you lost your last 3 matches, maybe then you move the manager on. But like context is always going to be needed in these circumstances. I think to rate the window though, even without Ruben Neves, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. You bring in one of the best centre-backs in the world, one of the best young creators, and one of the greatest ever football player to ever play football. Although he's 36, he still outscored Lukaku last year in a worse team.
How is it only 8, Terry? That has to be minimum 9. Minimum.
No, I disagree, because I think the biggest, like, listen, goals weren't their issue last year. Like, goals were not Man United's issue. And I think personally, I think if you replace Sancho with Ndidi, that's a 10 out of 10 window. I know that things didn't work out that way, and Sancho was always a target, but I don't think you can call it anything other than like an 8, 7, 8. Unless
you can't say 7. You're sticking up for them because these all say 7 now, and then when they don't win the league, they go, it wasn't that good of a window anyway.
But I think if you ask any Man United fan, take Ronaldo out of it, just look at Ronaldo's numbers, and you say to any Man United fan before the window started, do you want a defensive midfielder or a striker with these numbers? I reckon almost all would have said defensive midfielder, because that's what we need.
So, yeah, we would have said CDM. Cristiano Ronaldo,
it's different.
He what he brings outside of the goals in terms of this mentality, the lift of the club and professionalism, and what he can impart on the squad is again something so different and so unique that you have to count that in, and that's why you make it like an 8. Make it 8 out of 10 window, but CDM is definitely needed.
I think on that though, again to your point, Sonny, if Man United don't win the league, it's like an embarrassment or it's an excuse. Like I've said it before. Do you think we should win the league?
No.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you should. Okay. You should win the league. Yeah.
Okay. Go. Don't jump in. Cool. So can you please, in full camera, state that Man United are a better team than Liverpool?
Man United, in my opinion, have a better first 11.
Are you stupid?
And the bench. No, hang on. Man United have a better squad than Liverpool. So yes, Manchester United should win the league this season.
You didn't answer. You didn't say how I wanted you to. If we're the favorite, you can. The favorites for anything are the best, right?
Yeah.
So can you just openly state? Can you just openly state that Man United are the best team in the league, please?
Man United are expected to be the best team in the league. I can't say they're the best. I can't say they're the best.
Whoa, everyone stop. If you can't say they're the best, we can't be the favorites.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. No, because you've not played with your new team yet.
You're not smart enough.
You're not playing with your new team yet.
Then why? If we're not playing with the new team yet, then how can you expect us to win it? You don't know how they're going to play.
Those players coming in should definitely make you win it, but I've not seen those new players come in yet.
Then you don't know we should definitely win it.
No, but Ronaldo's Ronaldo. Once he plays for you, I can say it.
Yeah. Okay. then after you see him play, then you can say we're favourites. You can't say we're favourites before you've seen them play, but then equally won't say we're the best team before you see them play. Those two things they contradict each other. I keep saying it. I am happy to say with Chess as a Man United fan that we're favourites or we should win it. But I need everybody that's telling us that to go on camera and tweet that we're the best team. You can't say we're fourth best, but favourites to win the league. That's dumb. That's dumb.
No, but you're expected to be the best team. I can't say you're the best team.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
You're expected to be.
Talent, not win it. They have to talent.
Sonny, is Ollie better than Tuchel, Klopp, and Pep?
No, he's not.
Okay, so how can we expect to be the best? We don't even have the best manager.
Because you have all the best players. You've got the best player in the world. You got apparently Varane, who's second best defender in the world. You've got Sancho, one of the best wingers in the world, who's apparently going to compete with Salah in the best English spot.
Yeah, but Sonny, I thought modern football is about systems, style of play, tactics. When you haven't got apparently people don't even say Ollie's top 10 in the league, let alone top 3.
But that doesn't mean you're a bad manager.
No. When you've got that, and apparently Ollie will bring you down, and Ollie tax, and Ollie's the reason why you guys are getting held back. How can we be expected to win the league with one of the worst managers in the league? Make it make sense.
But he's not one of the worst managers in the league. Those are just delusional people saying.
I'll change my question then. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer good enough to win the Premier League?
Yeah, with that team, yes.
Oh no! Listen,
no.
Right, okay.
With that team, he is.
Lou, go on.
From a Liverpool fan's perspective, right? And I've said this to Terry multiple times, and I think he laughed at me when I said it. I think Liverpool have got the best starting 11 in the Premier League. And if I look at Man United's squad, there are 3 players I'd take to put into Liverpool's first 11, personally. So for me, they can't be the best team in the league.
Lou, okay, let's go back. In all competitions, Champions League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, it goes to Sonny as well. Who have a better season, Man United or Liverpool?
I personally think
Man United, Liverpool, who have a better season?
Listen, it depends what your expectations are, right? Liverpool fans, listen, Klopp doesn't care about the cups, right? We won't win a cup. We don't care. Man United fans want to win a cup. Obviously, they want to win one of the main 2, but if they can get their hands on a cup, great. So I think saying all competitions is difficult. In the league, who do I think will do better? Liverpool. In the Champions League, who do I think will do better? Liverpool, personally.
No.
Liverpool bias? Probably.
And this is all fair and fine. Like I've said, I'm very happy to take the mantle of being league favourites. But I need everyone to back my club and say we're the best team then. If you can't say we're the best team, you can't say we're the favourites. It never has anybody been predicted to win the 100-metre sprint, win a boxing fight, win Wimbledon, but not been looked at as the best. It doesn't work. You don't go, right, the guy that's ranked 6th in the world, he's favourite to win Wimbledon. Like on grass court, like he's a 6th best grass court player in the world. He's never favourite to win Wimbledon. Why would he be? He's got the best coach though. Yeah, but he's not the best player. You always go with the best. So
but hang on.
We can't start moving.
No, Terry, look at this though. Look at this.
No, I know what you're trying to do, and it's so.
No. I've got a completely different thing here. So PSG have just signed Ramos, Messi, Donnarumma, Wijnaldum. Loads of people are now saying they're the best team in the world. We've not even seen half those players play yet.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to say, but they will still expected. It shouldn't be best. We've not seen them play.
The point is, if I'm going to say that they're the favourites to win the Champions League, it's because I'm saying that they're the best team in Europe. I can't say 5 teams are better than them in Europe, but they should be the favourites to win the Champions League. Those two things cannot exist in the same universe at the same time. What people are trying to do, and it's fun on Twitter, and it gets great traction when your name is at CFC Trey or at Arsenal Trey or one of these like nameless faceless accounts. It gets loads of retweets. But in the cold light of day, it's transparent. What you're trying to do is say Man United are the favourites when you know in your heart of hearts we're not. So even if we come second, you can say you failed. It's such a blatant, obvious setup. It's unbelievable. We have some super chats here that says sacking Edu is like sacking the Glazers. Fans will be happy, and then things could get worse. Owners. Back to square one. Short-term happiness, but fans want instant success. That's never happening these days. I mean, Edu isn't the owner, so it's not the same thing. I do hear what you're saying about how you could get another owner in that's awful as well, but I think Arsenal fans would take the risk Thank you to Pricey for becoming a first-team member of the Football Terrace. We did miss a couple of super chats. I can't get them up on the screen. Sorry. It says here that Arsenal's window is surely a 10 out of 10 window after 130 million being spent. A bit of sarcasm. CJ says, Terry, Real Madrid have launched a bid for Camavinga right now. Yeah, we've seen that news, bro. We put it up on the screen. We spoke about it a little bit earlier. That's my tweet about it. Obviously, I always quote the person that put the source out there, even though that still triggers people. They're like, why are you spreading fake news?
25 million though. That's what the fee is. That's a bargain. 25 million.
It is. It's another one of these players who just hasn't signed a new deal at his club, and it's one of the things all summer where I remember Dean saying to me that Man United are not going hell for leather for him because his preference was always Real Madrid. He would have loved to have gone PSG as a second choice. Man United were his third choice on his list. So Man United were never going to go hell for leather for a player that only wanted them third choice. You know, it's as simple as that for me. There's also been a report from the same outlet, Give Me French, blah, 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 blah now. And they have said that, according to a journalist, and we'll put it up on the screen now, that Chelsea have had a bid of 55 million euros rejected for Jules Kounde, according to this man here. I've not heard of him, but obviously popular where he's from in France. Over 317,000 followers and verified. They're holding out for the 70 million euro clause. It's crazy what they've done to Chelsea. I mean, they're trying to pull a number on Chelsea. I mean, the verbal agreement was in place for weeks and weeks and weeks, and Chelsea then come in. I don't think that's new news, by the way. I think that's old news. That's obviously what's happened today, being pushed out again. I don't think it's a new bid. But there we go.
I'm telling you, this deal ain't happening.
You don't think it's happening? You don't think it's happening?
No, I don't think. I think that they waited too long to sell Zuma. Obviously, West Ham's fault. Sevilla haven't been able to get in the target they wanted. And now with the day to go in the window, Kabak's gone to Norwich, who Sevilla were reportedly after. I think I would be shocked if we're sitting here this time tomorrow and Kounde's a Chelsea player.
There we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in this evening, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Really appreciate you getting involved and having your say. Make sure you've smashed that like button. Make sure you've shared and subscribed to the Football Terrace. Everyone who's backstage waiting, I apologize, we can't get any more people on this evening. We're back tomorrow morning. We're live throughout the course of the day from 6 p.m. tomorrow night right through till midnight. We're going to be live covering all the breaking news. Peter O'Rourke's going to be joining us. I'm sure a lot of the Football Terrace alumni will be on as well if they're not stuck in any of those silly Twitter spaces. But until next time, they are mad. I sat in one the other night. I can't hear anyone talk. It's awful. It's partly my phone as well. I'm on an old phone because I broke it and my speaker's awful. So I was like, I'm done. I can't listen to this. But listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.